in hand on honeymoon street. You'll find the taste of love so sweet. We're gonna buck the trend that everybody else can lead. Keep walking on honeymoon street. Keep walking on honeymoon street.
Hey, hi there guys, it's Ross here at foodtravelmusiclove.com, inspiration from the heart. I'm out and about today doing a kind of a love video to do with the COVID-19 and how to deal with that if you're separated from your kids. So yeah, I don't want it to be another vlog like everyone else has done. You know, I'm not here to tell you how to stay indoors, how to stay healthy and safe. That goes without saying. If you can't do that, there's something wrong with it. Okay, so I've just entered the normal area that I come into often with a little one. I've just been apprehended by a lady that lives in the house here and told or advised not to walk through because we're in a lockdown. As you can see, we're in a beautiful parkland, lots and lots of open space. Really isn't any concern whatsoever. People just have to be very careful and sensible. Sometimes, sadly, people take this too far. Sometimes people take it upon themselves to make this their problem. There's really no need for any of that. We're just trying to get on with our lives, you know. You don't need somebody else telling you whether you can go for a walk or not to try and keep yourself fit and mentally fit as well. Now, this situation that we're all in is dreadful for everyone for their own individual reasons, obviously. For separated parents, there's still some people don't actually understand that children can go from one to the other, and that's obviously adding a lot of confusion. I don't think a certain Michael Gove helped that from day one when he changed his mind within 25 minutes, one TV channel to the other. But the fact is, at the moment, children can go from one to the other. So this COVID-19 lockdown situation is not ideal for anyone, of course. For separated parents, although at the moment everyone's allowed to see their children if they're in separate households, we all know that things could get different, things can change, and if people flout the rules, then that's even more reason for the government to change it, and we don't know what they'll do. I don't think in other countries they allow you to travel to see children, certain other countries, so who knows. So we've all got that worry. It's kind of a case of how do we cope with that, how do we deal with that when this could be for a long period. This isn't just related to COVID-19 either. This can be, some people have that in their day-to-day life, and that's what I'm trying to help people with. Now, the situation that we're in may feel new. COVID-19, Corona, something no one would have ever heard of apart from a beer a couple of years ago, even a year ago, even 3 months ago. I was out in Thailand, obviously doing my food videos and travel videos only 3 months ago. No one had even heard of it then. But the situation doesn't really change too much for some separated parents. This just kind of hits it home that there's sometimes a lot of uncertainty as to when you can see your little one, when you can't see your little one, and what you do about that. And this really does hit it home because we just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with the government, what they're going to do, and we may all have to accept, those of us that do get to see our children, both parents, that our little ones may end up with father, with mother, with other guardians if there's no father or mother involved. So the situation we're all in now is very unique, but the situation for a lot of separated parents is no different at the moment. We don't know sometimes, one day to the next, whether we're going to either be allowed to see our other one, whether we're going to have the financial ability to do so, especially if you're in a similar situation like me where your little one lives a long way away. They don't have to live 400 miles away, but you know, there's other people that have got their kids that live the other side of the world, and situations like this just really kind of hit that home. And although it does make everyone kind of come together a little bit. So if you watch my other videos, you'll know that I've gone through this sort of thing now for like 5 years. I'm in a much better place now, as is my little one's mum, and we're in a better place. That's the important thing, the three of us together. Now this COVID-19 situation doesn't pose as many issues at the moment for us personally, because we're both from a one person household, so little one going to and fro, it's essentially like we're all living in one household, so that isn't a massive deal at the moment. The government may change obviously and say we can't do it at all, but I appreciate a lot of people out there won't have that, and they'll, one parent or the other will be saying, I'm sorry, but you know, little ones aren't travelling because they're going to a house where there's someone going in and out, there's someone who's a key worker, and that's a sad thing. Someone could be doing a really important job, but it could end up having a negative impact on that person or that child's life. It's just a tough time at the moment, and nothing we can do about it. The situation, but there's things you can do about yourself and how you deal with it. Seriously, this is so good for the mental state and for the soul, just getting out on a lovely day like this. There's no one here, all I can hear is sheep. They're not in lockdown, are they? Brilliant. Okay, so I'm a little bit soppy, and so would Olivia be if she was on this walk with me. But this is normally full, this field here, full of sheep. They're all up the other end, and there's one here that's just on its own. I've got a feeling he knows that I'm doing a video about separated parents. I know your pain, mate. I know your pain. They're all over there, mate. They're all over there. Okay, are you going to subscribe? Are you going to give me a like? Brilliant. Turn away. Poor little thing. Olivia would like that. That's why I like doing these walks, because even if Olivia's not with me, there are things like that can remind me and keep me going, make me happy. Okay, so I've just got back from doing the walk. It's pretty warm, pretty hot out there, and I can smell loads of barbecues going on. It's like really rubbing it in. The smells are amazing, and it's not in my house or in my garden. But I'm not completely alone. I've got my cats here and they're keeping me company, so that's something. But I do feel a bit jealous of some of the families that are locked in together. If you've got a family with 2 parents and a kid, 2 parents and 5 kids. I know next door there's 2 parents and 4 kids there, so I'm sure some people might disagree and think, please just give me a few days on my own. But it's grass is always greener job, isn't it? So for now, I won't be doing a barbecue. I'll be having something boring for lunch, and then I'm going to get out and check some of the clapping going on later on, and then give you a few more of the little ideas of how I deal with things, how I cope with things. There might be a little bit of whiskey involved. I'm lying down, eyes closed, inside of me, feelings grow, open wide, eyes glow, feelings I can never show, and it's just because I'm unsure as to who I am. We know this isn't an easy thing for anybody at all. You know, everybody understands that. But I do think there should be other things that the government have thought of. They just assume that most people are in a certain category. The whole paying for self-employed people for their profits. You know, that doesn't help businesses like myself. You know, we've only been trading for a short while. And there'll be thousands of people that would have just started businesses ready for the summer, ready for like you know, positivity and you know what they're going to do and achieve that year. But no one's getting any help because there won't be any. There's no profits to look back on over the last few years, or even if you've had a business for a year or 2 years, you only have to watch Dragon's Den to work out that the most successful businesses in the world often start off with minimal profits or a loss for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Quite normal. The government must realise that. So how's that helping people like me who need to come up with £400 every time to see my little girl? They're not thinking about that at all. If you're in any sort of similar situation to me, do your best not to let it override. It's really, really hard not to get up each day worrying about the money and how you're either going to look after your children if they live with you, if the benefits that you're already getting aren't enough, because a lot of people that get benefits, if the children live with them, they may well work as well, so it might be like a top-up benefit, and I'm not actually sure how that's been working in this whole corona thing. I don't know how they're being dealt with by the government. But if you are in a situation like me where you're the secondary parent, you're not the resident parent, and you've got to worry about how you're financially going to look after the child, or if you've got travel costs like I've got, it cost me a lot anyway. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to get the violin out, but it's costing me hundreds of pounds every time I see my little one, and I would keep doing that, and I would go without food and whatever and warmth myself to do that. But it's hard not to wake up each day and the first thought, without the corona pandemic going on, the first thought is normally, am I going to be able to see Olivia in a few days? Am I going to be able to see her next week? How am I funding it? How am I paying for that on top of paying for all the other bills and things that go on? Because there's no other benefit or support network there for this kind of situation. And I'd love to hear in comments or in emails, I'd love to hear from other people if they are in long distance setups and how they deal with that. Obviously some people are financially really, really well off, and that's fine. And that's really what you need to be able to do this without that worry on your head. But having this pandemic going on, obviously you've got the worry of family members, and for me I've got a couple of family members that work for the NHS, so they're frontline, so you've already got those worries. You've got the worries of yourself, whether you're going to get anything, whether your child's going to get anything, and then you've got this overriding worry of money and how you're going to see your little one or your little ones. You know, how is that all going to happen? So I want to try and work out ways each day to get up, because we don't know how long this is going to be going on for, and a lot of these things that I'm doing each day are things that I would be doing anyway when I'm not with little one, or when I'm not working. I would have to try and find ways of dealing with not being with her. Try and speak to your kids as much as you can throughout this period. However, I would only suggest doing that if your kids are up for it, because a lot of parents will try and sort of force it on the children, and it's a weird, uncomfortable environment. You know, it might be something that we're all used to now, speaking on the phone or on FaceTime, and that's great. But as long as the kids are up for it, you know, as long as they're enjoying it, I would say, you know, if you can and it's possible and both parties are up for it, try and keep that contact just going. You know, whether it's like a few days that you're apart or a few weeks, you know, or in this situation, God forbid, you know, a few months, you know, who knows. Just keep that constant communication going, and just think that people cope like this and they didn't see their kids for weeks and weeks. I hate to compare, but, you know, you can look at world wars and whatever else that went on years ago where there weren't even just a phone call. You know, nowadays, you know, you can as good as, like, you know, stroke someone's face on the, you know, on the screen, you know, and people just didn't have that years ago. So just embrace what you have got. Bye, love you, see ya. Okay, so it's still pretty tough talking, just because you don't know, you know, you never know if things are going to change. So, you know, you just got to keep doing your best, keep trying to be strong. But, you know, if you get sad about stuff and if you're missing your kids, you miss your kids. It's as simple as that. Don't be proud. Don't be proud in this time. You know, if you need to make phone calls, hopefully, you know, everyone out there has got someone that they can be ringing and someone that they can talk to. Because if you're used to working and you're used to working with other people, or if you're used to having your kid with you a lot more, you know, you need to get that feedback from somewhere else, because that can be mentally dangerous. And that's why what the government are imposing is obviously for a really good cause, but it's got its adverse effects, and things can end up getting a lot worse overall if they stick to it too much. So you have really got to think about yourself, think about what's going on up there, find strength and positivity from anything and anywhere, and then, you know, imagine the feeling. Then just keep holding that thought in your head, that feeling of when your kids run up and give you a cuddle. That's all you got to think about. You know, that's all that keeps me going every time. Even though I've got set plans, even though at the moment in this lockdown period I've kind of got 2 weeks, little one's with her mum, 1 week with me. That's just so as I can get on and do work and things, because her mum doesn't work. So even though I've got that set plan, It's never set. Government could step in and change it. Finances, because I've been taken out of a bulk of my work that I do, finances could mean at any point that I just have to say I just can't do it. So, you know, and health-wise, you know, any of us could end up being in isolation or anything. So there's no guarantee even in someone in my situation. So I really feel for those that are literally in a lockdown on their own and they don't get a chance to see their kids either. So stay safe, stay healthy, and look after yourselves. Really look after yourselves, and your kids will look after you.